Good evening. We're going to talk tonight a little bit about the power of your gut and how the food you eat affects your gut and how your gut affects your health. So, the gut has 5 key roles in your body. We know the role of digestion, right? That's where you start with chewing your food in your mouth and it passes all the way through your digestive system, but it really starts in your mouth. Now, your food begins breaking down into those usable components through the chewing and through that digestive process. What we're going to talk about is a little bit more about what happens in that digestive process first. We have the food starting in our mouth with saliva. We're breaking down our food with chewing it. The saliva also helps in the process of breaking down food. The food then enters our esophagus, which is a tube of muscle that squeezes that food down into our stomach. In your stomach, the stomach acids break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. The food then passes into the small intestine, and a lot of it really happens in the small intestine. It's a more alkaline environment, and the lipases and bile that are excreted by the bladder break down fat, and the gut bacteria help in the breakdown of food. The pancreas secretes some alkaline pancreatic juice to neutralize the stomach acid, and it secretes enzymes to help the food break down. The pancreas also secretes insulin, which plays a vital role in nutrient regulation and storage. Food then moves from that small intestine into the colon, where the water is pulled out that remains, and the food's bacterial mass as well to create the stool. The liver also plays a role in this digestive process, breaking down fats, processing toxins, drugs, and hormones. So we start with that idea of digestion. Then you have to remember your gut also helps with absorption and assimilation. Now, even if you're eating the healthiest diet in the world, if you're not absorbing nutrients properly, your health will not be good. Nutrient absorption takes place in that small intestine where proteins, fats, carbohydrates, water, vitamins, minerals are all absorbed through that brush border, the microvilli. We also have the process of symbiosis occurring. Now, symbiosis is that healthy, balanced gut flora that helps to maintain the balance across multiple microbiomes in your body. Remember, you have microbiomes that occur in your mouth, in your sinuses, on your skin, and within any mucosal surface on your body. The largest reservoirs of the microbiome is in your gut, where the gut flora, those bacteria, contribute to the production of amino acids and neurotransmitters such as serotonin and vitamin K. In order for gut health to flourish, you need a healthy colon, in which short-chain fatty acids are going to play a role. Those short-chain fatty acids are an indirect measure of the dietary fiber and prebiotic foods that you are eating to help feed your colon. Now, some of you may have heard the opposite of symbiosis is dysbiosis. And dysbiosis occurs when those bad gut bacteria have taken over. Now, gut dysbiosis isn't an instant thing. It happens over time, and it can wreak havoc on your entire body. Now, gut dysbiosis can be caused by antibiotic use, chronic indigestion or acid reflux, chronic constipation, and even stress. If you're experiencing dysbiosis, you might be seeing symptoms such as chronic diarrhea or constipation, gas, bloating, a stuffed feeling after meals, rashes, hives, eczema, asthma, or numbness in your hands and feet, and joint pain. So dysbiosis, that imbalance of the bacteria, has a huge impact on the body. Your body also uses your gut as the home for 70% of your immune system. Now, if your immune system is dysregulated, it's overactive, the symptoms of that constant gut-associated immune activation include migraines, asthma, allergies, autoimmune diseases, and depression. Your gut has patches called Peyer's patches, which are small masses of lymphatic tissue that are located in the lower portion of the intestine. They're responsible for monitoring intestinal bacterial populations and preventing those pathogenic, those bad bacteria bugs from overgrowing. So, we've talked about digestion, assimilation and absorption, immune regulation, and symbiosis. Let's move on to the last one, which is detoxification and elimination. Now, bowel movements are a critical component of your body's ability to detoxify. Your gut works together with your liver to take what is food and get rid of everything else in your stool. That means that your body's flushing out those microbes, the toxins, the food additives, the drugs, all of those things. Now, glutathione is a particularly helpful part of this process, okay? It is a substance that helps to neutralize free radicals, mycotoxins, and heavy metals, while also helping to recycle the antioxidants like vitamin C and E. Glutathione helps as well to maintain that intestinal barrier integrity, preventing leaky gut. So, let's talk a little bit about that leaky gut idea. Leaky gut has a huge impact on your immune system. Usually, properly digested food is absorbed directly through the cell wall. In a leaky gut, the pathways between the cells are opened up, and it exposes that gut-associated immune system to a variety of substances that your cells are unfamiliar with. This spells danger to your body and creates inflammatory signals for your body, and the immune system then attacks those escaped particles. So we talked a little bit before about things that impact your gut. Now, contributors to leaky gut include some things that you're probably already expecting: poor diet, stress, infections, systemic inflammatory diseases, low stomach acid, toxin exposure, NSAIDs, which are like your aspirins, your ibuprofen, antibiotics, GMOs, and lectins. Now, when we take a look at the impact and we want to figure out how can we tell if our gut's healthy, then the way to do that is to really think about these three things. First, is all the food that I'm eating being digested into its necessary components to provide the nutrients your body needs? Second, is my digestive surface able to absorb the micronutrients while blocking larger, partially digested food particles, bacteria, yeast, and parasites from entering my body? And is my gut-associated immune system activated only when necessary and not stuck in that perpetual state of overstimulation? Now, when that gut-associated immune system is activated, you're going to end up with inflammation throughout your body, fat deposits building up in the abdomen, weight gain, and systemic diseases like autoimmune disease. So your gut health is essential to your overall health. And for more than just the fact that your gut contains about 70% of your immune system. Your gut impacts how your body feels, but it can also impact your mental health as well. This is your first brain. Down there is your second brain. Okay? Your brain talks to the gut through that vagus nerve that runs the entire length of the digestive tract and deals with that brain-gut communication. 95% of that feel-good hormone, serotonin, is produced in your gut, not in your brain. Gut imbalances can trigger behavioral, emotional, and psychiatric symptoms. Brain-related disorders can be impacted by gut health as well. Those include autism, ADHD, anxiety disorder, OCD, depression, dementia, and Parkinson's disease. Improving gut health is going to improve your brain health, and brain disorders can be impacted by gut rebalancing. So we've talked a lot about the gut, okay? And we've talked a lot about how that gut works. But there's another factor in this, which is how the food you eat affects your gut. The food you eat has a serious impact on your gut. And so we're going to talk about a few foods that definitely have an impact on the health of your gut. Now, not every food impacts every person the same way. So while this may be a food that doesn't impact you, it may impact someone else, or vice versa. Those foods include dairy, which contains whey and casein, which are proteins. And what happens with pasteurized milk is we strip out those proteins that are necessary to break those, we strip out those enzymes that are necessary to break those proteins down. Dairy also contains lactose, which is a milk sugar, and 70% of the world's population lacks the enzyme to break that down. That's where lactose intolerance comes in. And that's one of the effects that you can see when you're a person for whom dairy is not the right choice. Wheat is another one that has a huge impact on gut health. Gluten is a wheat protein made up of two parts, glutenin and gliadin. Glutenin is responsible for that strength, that elasticity in your dough. Gliadin is similar in structure, though, to thyroid proteins. If you have leaky gut, your immune system will attack the gliadin, but it can also get confused and start attacking your thyroid. Third one, soy. Soy interferes with the absorption of essential minerals such as selenium, which helps to convert the primary thyroid hormone, T4, to the active form, T3. 90% of soy nowadays is GMO and Roundup ready. Glyphosate leads to a leaky gut. Glyphosate is the main ingredient in Roundup, and interferes with the production of 3 essential amino acids. Tryptophan, which you may all recognize from turkey dinners, makes you go to sleep. Tyrosine and phenylalanine. Now let's talk about some other foods that are going to impact your gut health. Another big one is corn. And this is a hard one for me because, seriously, popcorn is my favorite food ever. But over 90% of corn is modified to be Roundup tolerant. Another form is also modified to produce its own insecticide, which kills insects by poking holes in the digestive tracts of those insects. Guess what it does in your digestive tract? Yep, same effect in humans. Sensitivities to corn can actually present similar to that of gluten and other allergens. Another category of vegetables that has a significant impact on your gut health is nightshades, the group of nightshades. That includes tomatoes, tomatillos, sweet and hot peppers, eggplant, potatoes, bell peppers, and pimentos. Now, these plants produce alkaloids, which can lead to inflammation and joint pain, particularly in those who already have inflammatory diseases. Nightshades also contain lectins, which can trigger an immune response in people. So they can have multiple impacts on your body. Another one that we often see as a conflict is eggs. Egg yolks are high in arachidonic acid, which is a pro-inflammatory omega-6 acid. Now, most eggs come from chickens that are fed this diet full of GMO corn and soy. Now remember, you are what you ate has eaten. Organic eggs that come from cage-free hens fed a natural free-range diet are going to be rich in omega-3s and have more health benefits. So some people, because of that high arachidonic acid, find that their bodies cannot process eggs well. And let's talk about the biggest offender of all, which is sugar. And this includes all forms of sugar. But the greatest negatives, biggest impacting ones, are the refined cane sugar and the high fructose corn syrup. So let's talk about some problems that come from sugar. And I've actually got 10 of them because this is a big deal. It's an unsustainable source of energy for your body, devoid of nutrients, minerals, vitamins, and essential fatty acids. It's linked to a decreased intake in essential nutrients. That means the more sugar you eat, the less likely you are to eat foods containing the nutrients you need. High in fructose, which is metabolized in the liver, And it doesn't turn off the hunger signal, ghrelin. Too much sugar as well can lead to a fatty liver. It can cause insulin resistance. It can cause inflammation, and that inflammation can cause pain. It's linked, of course, to an increase in body weight. It's highly addictive because it triggers the release of dopamine, the pleasure hormone in the brain. It feeds cancer, and it raises your cholesterol. So, you've got a lot of things going on to think about with your gut. We took the time today to talk about your gut, how it works, how the food you eat impacts your gut. And so if you have any questions to follow up, don't hesitate to let me know. If you drop a comment, I will certainly respond to your comment, or you can feel free to message me individually. With that in mind, go out and treat your gut well. Really choose wisely what you're putting in your mouth, because it's going to impact more than the taste on your tongue. Have a great night.